I have chosen to analyse a scene from Pokemon Detective Pikachu. I'll let you watch the scene through once so you can absorb everything, and then I'm going to break it down.
Unlike other regions where Pokemon live in the wild, here we live and work together. No battles, no trainers, no Pokeballs. A stronger, more harmonious world.
From all our citizens, welcome to Rhyme City.
Fighting fires wouldn't be the same without their Squirtle partners.
Squirtle! Squirtle! Squirtle!
Dispatch 32, we are ready for transport.
The point of the scene is to give us a setting for the adventure of the hero and protagonist, Tim. It also shows us how he initially reacts to being in a city far from home, familiar from the past but strange to the now. The scene shows Tim, our main protagonist, completing his journey to Rhyme City. As is explained to us, Rhyme City is a place where Pokemon have no masters and do not have to fight in Pokemon battles. Both humans and Pokemon live in harmony. The scene then shows Tim walking through the streets of Rhyme City, and we see him pass many Pokemon. As a child, Tim wanted to be a Pokemon trainer, but since his mum passed away and his father took up detective work in the city, Tim was very much put off the idea. The setting looks like a mishmash of Asian cities in London. It has the red double-decker buses of London and also the building that looks very much like the Gherkin. We then have the neon lights and signs scattered around the place, which make the place seem like more of a Tokyo cityscape.
Because Pokemon is from Japan and it's a worldwide phenomenon, it just made a lot of sense to figure out a way to bridge the two. So we shot in London, and the idea was to make Rhyme City a mashup of London, New York, and Tokyo, and just this kind of multicultural melting pot.
The audience is from a multitude of backgrounds, both children and adults who grew up with Pokemon games and the TV series. Therefore, this modern take on the world of Pokemon can be easily accepted and immersed within. The lighting for this scene is high key. This makes the city seem like a bright and happy place, as opposed to the reason Tim is in Rhyme City, which is to sort through things in his father's apartment after his tragic death on a recent case. The bright sunlight as Tim leaves the train station connotes that Rhyme City is not all that it seems. A new start for Tim, a place where he can find solace and happiness in such a dark period of his life. The tilting upwards of the camera shows that there is hope for Tim in this place. The transition scene here, an upwards tilt to the tracking shot of the Pidgeot, the bird Pokemon, helping on the crane, and then a downwards tilt bringing us back to the ground. Not only does this smoothly transition from shot to shot, making it easy on the eye, but it connotes, yet again, that the hope and solace Tim is looking for is right there in Rhyme City. We see the Machamp directing traffic as well as the Squirtle helping the fire department. This shows the audience that Pokemon do human jobs, steering the audience away from the view that Pokemon are like animals, to the vision of Howard Clifford, a business tycoon whom we see on screen at the train station. We see Tim passing the Pancham and Pangoro, the panda-looking Pokemon, amongst the people in the outside social space. This again shows that humans and Pokemon get along well together. The Pancham almost resemble playful children, reminding Tim of his former self before his mum got sick and his love of Pokemon demised. Tim is always in focus when he is on screen. This allows us to see his facial expressions. For the most part, he seems a mix of unconcerned yet uncomfortable at the same time. Maybe he blames the city for taking his father away from him, both in life and growing up. Maybe he feels guilty for not choosing a Pokemon because he knows that's what his dad would have wanted for him, to follow his dreams. At home, Tim is an insurance broker who hopes to soon be promoted. He wears a shirt, trousers and sensible shoes, looking like a smart, punctual young man. When we look at his attire later on in the film, he is wearing a t-shirt, leather jacket, jeans and a pair of biker boots, all of which are his father's, so he is quite literally in his father's shoes. This shows that he is starting to understand his father's life and work, and why he wanted Tim to come and live with him in Rhyme City. We also notice that on Tim's t-shirt there is an unknown, a very rare Pokemon, which connotes that Tim is reconnecting with his former love of Pokemon. An unknown also has 26 forms, supposedly one for each letter of the alphabet. The suggestion of many forms then suggests that what happens to his father has many forms. As it turns out, sorry for the spoilers, but his dad is in the form of a Pikachu the whole time. The film, unlike the anime, is not overly covered in bright colours. They are all very mid-neutral tones. Helping with the immersiveness of the film, this also reminds us that there's a serious tone to the film. After we have finished with the awe of the Pokemon in the city, when the camera tilts down again, we see the Machamp and the Snorlax, both of which are blue in colour. This grounds the audience as with the camera movement, reminding us that the story is a sad one. The Pokemon started out as some fan concept art on DeviantArt by R.J. Palmer, until he was headhunted by producers of Detective Pikachu. His original concept art was far too realistic for the style of the film, so Palmer based the characters on the original Pokemon themselves. Vintage lenses and LUTs were added so that the cartoon look to the Pokemon blended into the film noir-like style and made them look much more real. Eric Nordby, visual effects supervisor, said in an interview with Time magazine, "We'd build them as if they were an actual animal." This allowed the team to imagine how the Pokemon would move. On set, the Pokemon were represented as puppets made by a company in London. Nordby says, "We put the puppeteers through boot camps so that they understood the weight of a character, how fast they run or walk, and how they get up and down off surfaces. Any fine detail, such as facial expressions and textural detail, were added during post using CGI. The diegetic sound within the scene is just the normal hustle and bustle of a busy city, with the added noise of Pokemon. I believe this allows the audience to connect with the setting, so they can immerse themselves in the film, such as stated by Bulmer and Katz in their uses and gratifications theory. The non-diegetic sound fits in with the genre perfectly, in that it sounds mysterious, fitting of the detective nature of the film, but also a dash of adventure and curiosity. You could describe it as vibrant with seedy undertones. As part of the generation that grew up watching Pokemon as a TV show, it thrilled me to see so many Pokemon on the big screen. I reiterate my earlier statement, familiar from the past but strange to the now. To the adults watching the film, the Pokemon are all familiar, but strange as they are no longer anime but drawn more realistically. In conclusion, this scene is very important as it sets the location in which our main story unfolds.